Let's Nightfall, episode 9, and this week's Nightfall is Sepiks Prime. Not too bad of a Nightfall this week. We can go over the modifiers real quick. There's Airborne's on, which is going to help a lot. Small Arms, Match Game, Berserk, and Epic. So I'm going to run through this first part. I'm just going to use an Invisnade. I am on Night Stalker. You can try and Sparrow through this first part or just run Titans and Warlocks. You might as well. It's the very first part of the Nightfall, so if you die, you die. Or you can just spend the time to kill those enemies. As far as guns go, because Small Arms is on, guys, use your best primary, whatever that may be. Outbreak Prime would be great to use this week. I don't know how many people actually have that gun, but if you do, that would be a very good pick for your primary. I'm not using Outbreak Prime because I would rather have Gjallarhorn on. So if you do have Outbreak Prime and you want to use that, I would suggest using a rocket launcher. You can use a machine gun if you would like to, but I would use a rocket launcher. If you don't have Gjallarhorn, Truth would work well. A sword would work great as well, though I don't know how close you really want to get to enemies this week. So for this first room, you see I'm using Gjallarhorn to take out this first initial wave of ads. You'll have Fallen fighting Hive. Remember that Airborne is on this week, so every time I'm floating a rocket, doing a grenade or melee, I'm making sure to jump in the air when it's about to impact the enemies because it's going to do a ton more damage. So once you clear out these ads, you will then let out your ghost if you're unfamiliar with the strike, and then you will have to take on 2 waves of enemies. Now we're going to be up here on this catwalk and underneath the catwalk. We can't go over to the trains anymore because they got turrets over there. If you are in a group of 3, you could have one person just shooting the turrets when they come back every 20 seconds or so. So if you want to go over to trains, more power to you, go over to trains, but I'm not going to mess with that because I'm in here by myself. So up here on the catwalk, you're pretty much safe. You will have ads. These ads, they just spawned out of that door. You will have ads that occasionally spawn out there. You will have the Vandal and Dregs, and then you will have some Shank spawn. And then for the second wave, you will have more Vandal and Dregs, and then you will have more Shank spawn. So I'm going to be going from up top to underneath the catwalk, up top to underneath the catwalk. Remember to use rocket launchers. Be careful when jumping up in the air when you're on top of the catwalk, as I almost killed myself with a rocket. I was about to pull that R2 button with that crossbeam in front of me. You can move around the room as well if you would like to, so don't be too set on staying in that one spot. You see the turrets there. Oh, the old train yard. We sit back there with Icebreaker and year 1 and just shoot everything and take forever to clear out this room. So as you see, guys, I'm just using rockets. You're really going to rely on Gjallarhorn this week and Airborne to just absolutely melt everything. I have a sniper on, and basically that is for the second part of this strike. I do switch to a shotgun for the boss fight. You see here Shanks are coming out, and this is the underneath the catwalk. You're not completely safe here, but you can kind of be behind cover. And a lot of the times the ads won't push up on you. A Sword Vandal will, sometimes the Shanks will, but a lot of times they'll just kind of stay back where the ghost is scanning that object, whatever that is. I don't know what it is. What I was going to say about special is I didn't really use my special, especially with Small Arms on, guys. You're going to be using your primary quite a bit, and then Gjallarhorn or a different heavy if you don't have Gjallarhorn. Maybe rock a fusion rifle, maybe a shotgun. For this first room, you are going to want a sniper for the second part. But if you want to rock a shotgun or a fusion for this first part, I would suggest doing that over a sniper, as I didn't really use a sniper. I was just using Gjallarhorn in primary. So there's going to be 2 waves. The ghost has got to, get down 2 grid layers. Also, if you have been lucky enough to go through the raid, unless you're a solo player, and you have those gauntlets from the raid, great time to have them on because that increases your heavy ammo drop with Fallen. So for the second wave, you're going to have Hive and Fallen spawn, and they're going to be fighting each other. If you want to, I'm killing guys, you could just sit here, physically sit down behind the crate and let them go at it and let them dwindle each other down and then come out and do rockets. Like if you're lower light, let them fight for a little bit and just kind of hang out. You see the wizards, well, this wizard's kind of was paying attention to me a little bit, but if they don't see you for, a couple seconds, then they're going to go back to fighting the other ads. And those wizards will do quite a bit of damage. Now, you will also have those invis snipers. You'll have one on your right and one on your left. You're seeing me shoot him now. They are dangerous, so take them out. And then you're just floating rockets. You see the wizard, how it was going after that splicer captain or vandal sword guy, whatever it was. So they will fight each other. So if you want to just sit back and hang out, then sit back and hang out. So for the second layer that the ghost is deactivating, you'll have that initial spawn, you will have the hive and the fallen fighting each other. Then you will have the shank spawn. So this is the second shank spawn. They spawn once with the first wave, they spawn another time with the second wave. After the shank spawn, then you will have another wave of enemies, and with that is going to be a ultra captain that we need to take out, and we will be able to move on once we take him out. As far as subclasses go, I'm on Night Stalker Hunters. I will be switching to Golden Gun for the boss fight, and I will be having Celestial Nighthawk on. So if you have access to Celestial Nighthawk, I would highly suggest switching to Golden Gun for the boss fight, because with Airborne on, you're going to be able to do a ton of damage with your super. Warlocks and Titans. Titan, I would run Sunbreaker pretty much the entire time. You can switch to Bubble for the boss fight if you are under light. And then for Warlocks, I would rock Void Bomb up until the boss fight, and then I would switch to Self-Res and Fusion Nades. So you see, we took out that first initial wave, then the Shank spawn for the second layer, and then some invisible sword guys spawn. So if you are on the ground, you have to be careful with these invisible sword guys. They will not come and chase you up top on top of this platform. At least I have never had them come up top like that. Now, the guys that come out of the door to my right up on this upper platform, they will go up and down on top of that catwalk. So after you take out the invisible sword vandals, you will then have more ad spawn. So you see more ads are coming out right now, more splicer vandals and some dregs. And with that, like I said, you will have the ultra captain that we're going to need to take out. And once you take him out, we will be able to move on. This first room is very easy, guys. You're using Gallahorn and or a different rocket launcher, making sure to jump because Airborne's on. You're going to be able to do a bunch of damage. So there he is, Drexus, and we need to take him out and we'll be able to move on. And then with primary damage on, guys, just use your best primary like I said. You're going to be able to melt through enemies with Gallahorn and a good primary, or just a rocket launcher and a good primary. You're just going to be able to melt. You see here, as long as I'm hopping up in the air with Gallahorn, guys, it's just going to absolutely melt these enemies. I'm going to fast forward here, just a little fast forward. You're not missing anything. Just clearing out the last remaining enemies, using rockets, remembering to jump when it's about to impact, taking out that ultra captain, and then run around and get ammo, get any heavy that you need. If you did switch to a fusion or a shotgun, switch to a sniper and go pick up some ammo. I'm going to run through this little part. It's just a few ads. Titans and Warlocks, you might have to shoot a couple of those guys before you make your run if you are lower light. But if you're a 400 light, guys, I would just run through that part. Unless you're, focused on getting the gold medal bounty, the sunrise bounty done for Zavala, then I would just spend some time to take those guys out. So for this next part, we are going to take out a SIVA Perfected Walker. If you've never done this strike before, it's very easy. You're just chilling in the way far back, using your sniper, using your primary, and we're going to focus on one leg. He's down, going to do damage. Focus on another leg. He's down, do damage, rinse and repeat that. Now, periodically throughout this fight, you will have two ad spawn, and they're coming in right to my right. You will have a captain with a void shield, and match game is on, so just be aware of that. And then you will also have just a Splicer Vandal regular guy spawn. Now, they will spawn periodically, so just be aware of that. Don't be too glued in to your primary scope. Don't be too glued in with your sniper. Just be aware that they're going to be spawning periodically. And we're just going to basically do everything from back here. The old spot used to be to the far left, but they have a turret there now. So just be chilling back in here. And you have plenty of cover to hide from the boss's attacks. And again, once his leg's down, guys, if you're brand new to this game, he will then drop his head, and then his brain or whatever that is will be exposed, and then you will be able to do damage on his critical spot there. I'm going to do a slight fast forward here, not miss anything. There's not much else to explain about this encounter, guys. You're doing damage on a leg, his leg is down, then you're doing damage on his critical spot, and you're rinsing and repeating that over and over again. Don't forget about these two ads that will spawn periodically. Here they are again. You need to keep an eye out for them, because the last thing you want to do is be focused in on the boss and not paying attention, and they come up behind you and you absolutely get wrecked. So here we go. We are focusing on our next leg. When the boss is shooting, I'm going to dive back behind cover. You have this entire building in front of you, so it's going to be very hard for this Perfected Walker to get good shots on you. He will get good shots on you if you're staying out in the open. So if I'm like right here, he can get a shot through this area. So the second I see him shoot, I'm going to bail back behind cover. So we got the leg down, but I'm checking my radar, and we got these bozos coming to my right again. Again, do not get too glued in. The last thing you want to do is get this Perfected Walker low, and then you have these bums take you out. They're not difficult. They're not hard enemies to take out. They're just more of an annoyance. You know, they're not a difficult enemy. So here we go. Now all I got to do is get a third leg down, and then we will be able to finish off this Perfected Walker. Titans, you know, actually you might want to switch to Bubble and Weapons of Light for this part, especially if you are under light. You'll be able to go through this encounter a little bit quicker. Warlocks, like I said, I would do Void Bomb up until the boss. And then Hunters, actually, if you want to switch to Golden Gun, if that's what you plan on doing, maybe switch to Golden Gun with Celestial Nighthawk if you do have it. That will help you get through this Perfected Walker encounter a little bit quicker than I did. I didn't think to switch. I probably should have. So here we go. These guys are coming again. I don't have my third leg down. I'm going to super fast forward here. You're not missing anything, guys. Just focusing on taking out that third leg. And once we do that, we will then focus on the boss and we will finish him off. And then once you do get the boss down, guys, if you are doing good on time, I would spend some time in here taking out the ads to build up your score for that sunrise bounty for Zavala. You're going to have to take out some guys anyway, the guys up near the door, but these guys like down in the pit, you don't have to take them out. We can move up the right side and kind of ignore them. But you see here, I am taking them out, just trying to build that score up a little bit. Also, they might drop some ammo for you, some heavy. You might want to go pick that up. So we're going to move up this side. Now you need to take these ads out by the door. They will wreck, and you don't want to die making this run. Hunters, you can go invis like I did to make the run, but Titans and Warlocks, make sure to clear that path out before you make the run. So now we are on to the boss fight where pretty much the entire Nightfall happens is at this boss fight. And this is the point in time when I'm going to be switching to Golden Gun, and I'm also going to be switching to a PvE shotgun. With small arms on, and I can run Celestial Nighthawk with the Hunter and Golden Gun and Airborne, I don't need a sniper to do DPS, and I like having a shotgun just in case the ads get overwhelming. Titans and Warlocks, you might need to keep your sniper on. I suck at sniping in general, so it doesn't really matter if I have one on anyway. I'm probably going to miss shots. If you don't have Gallahorn, machine gun or sword could be good. Again, like I said, a sword is risk reward. If you have Outbreak Prime, like I said, Outbreak Prime earlier in the video, that is going to be a great primary to use if you do have it. If you don't have it, don't fret, don't worry. It's not that big of a deal. There are plenty of great primaries out there that you can use. So here we go. We are on to the boss fight. There will be an initial wave of ads right here. So if you're not ready for Sepiks to spawn, I mean, he's in here, but he won't become active until you take out this first initial wave. Say you're waiting on a super, waiting on a pack cooldown, then just hang back in this back little room here. Don't advance up to kill these ads. Just hang out. So once we do take out these ads, Sepiks will drop his shield. So he's kind of in prayer mode right now. He will drop that shield. We'll be able to do initial damage on him. And then we're going to have 3 phases of the fight. Sepiks will put up 3 different shields, Arc, Solar, and Void. We will use a cannon, Arc Cannon, Solar Cannon, Void Cannon to take that shield down and be able to do damage. So there's one more ad left. And the safe haven used to be this left little hallway. You saw me in there a second ago. And I don't remember. I think ads push into this little hallway now. So you see here, so Sepiks is dropping his shield. Remember to jump, guys. Remember, Airborne is on. And you see, we're eating up his health with Gallahorn. We really are. So he's already on Arc Shield. So this right here, this used to be the old safe haven. And I do not remember. I think ads push in here now. So I will just try this out. The room behind me, you kind of use the room behind me in this hallway to our left, but I think this hallway to the left, I think they kind of fixed this. It looks like ads are pushing into my left right here. Yeah, okay, they're going to come over to the hallway now. Let's just bail to this back room. Now, this back room is not a totally safe haven. Ads can come up behind you from down low. So be popping in and out of your scope. Do not be aiming down, your sights for too long. You got to be going in and out. So he has an arc shield. So there will be 2 arc captains that spawn. We need to take one of them out and then use their cannon to shoot Sepiks to take his shield down. And then once we do that, we'll be able to do damage on Sepiks. Once we do enough damage, he will then transition to his next shield, and that will be the second phase of this fight. So you see here, I'm just floating rockets, remembering to jump in the air when they're about to impact these guys. So, okay, cool. We got a shock captain down. Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay, let's move up. Using rockets to clear out the path. If it is still packed out here, then we're going to pick up the cannon. We're going to shoot him. And there we go. His shield is down. Hunters, this is when you're going to be saving your supers for these damage phases if you are doing what I'm doing with Golden Gun Celestial Nighthawk. Remembering to jump, and you see there we almost did 200,000 damage. So Hunters, if you do have access to Celestial Nighthawk, definitely would have Golden Gun on. You saw we're going to be doing a ton of damage. Again, working our way out, you'll be able to do some damage. Then his shield, second shield will come up using Gallahorn again, guys. You should have a crate spawn in here. You should have a special and a heavy. Sometimes you're not going to get boxes that spawn in here, but majority of the time you will. So feel free to let those rockets fly. So his second shield up, solar shield's up. So that tells me that new ads are going to be coming in. And I'm making sure. So, okay, so ad came up behind me. I just saw it on my radar. It's to my right. So you see they come up those steps. So you have to be very, very careful. Captains will even come up this step sometimes. So you have to be very, very careful about the ads trying to sneak up those back steps and come up behind you. If captains come up there, that can be very, very dangerous. So just be aware of that. So here we go. We're moving out. We got the captains down. We'll be able to use both cannons here. So we took his shield down and then wait for him to teleport. And then we'll be able to shoot him again there and do some damage on him. Though it doesn't even look like that shot counted, I guess. Whatever. So here we go. His shield's down. We're going to do more damage. If you're taking shots from too many ads, just fall back to this room. This room and the ads coming up behind you, that is dangerous with the initial wave. So when he puts up a new shield and new ads are coming in, that's when they're going to come up behind you. But when we're in this damage phase, the ads are kind of set in their spots by then, and more than likely, they're not going to be coming up those back steps. Again, if you do have the raid gauntlets, heavy should be dropping all over the place for you. And you see here, guys, the boss fight's really not that difficult. The only kind of overwhelming difficult parts are with the, initial wave of enemies that spawn and the captains. That is when it can be overwhelming, as the captains will do a ton of damage regardless if you're 400 light or you are under light. The captains will absolutely wreck. So we're on our second damage phase still. He should be pretty close to popping up his shield. And with that chip dropping off new enemies, be aware this is an opportunity for enemies to come up these back steps. So we're shooting him. Okay, his third shield is up, the void shield. Now we're going to have more ads spawning, going to have some shanks, and your captains are going to spawn. Again, be careful about the enemies coming up the back steps. That's going to get you killed. And here comes a guy right here. He's coming by himself. Sometimes you'll have 3 or 4 enemies. Sometimes it's just one enemy like that. And he's just by his lonesome, and it's not overwhelming. The only time it's really overwhelming when the ads come up the steps is if it is a captain. So here we go. I got one captain in my sights, just making sure. I'm going to pop down these steps to take a quick look. Okay, so there is no captain down here. And you see how the ads are just standing right there? A lot of the times, they'll just stand underneath there. And a lot of times, like I've said probably too many times during this boss fight, they will just come up the back steps. 1 or 2 of them will. Sometimes a captain will. So both of my captains are out front right here. And you see 1 or 2 shots from them. I'm in red and I'm 400 light, guys. So they do a ton of damage. So if you are under light, you have to be very, very, very careful about these captains. So if you do kill a captain, the Scorch Cannon will not just stay there forever. Okay, so if you don't go and pick it up right away, so you see right there, it disappeared. That's perfectly fine, guys. If you kill both of these captains and you can't move out to get their cannon, new captains will spawn. So don't worry about if those cannons disappear. They will just spawn 2 more captains. Obviously, if more captains spawn, that gives you another opportunity to get wrecked by said captains. But say you get a captain down, his cannon is on the ground, but there's too many ads, you're lower light, you're low on health. Don't rush out there to go grab it, okay? They do last longer than you think. They're not going to disappear 5 seconds after you take out the captain. And if they do both disappear, don't worry about it, because Sepiks is going to keep spawning captains until you use one to take his shield down. So don't put yourself in a bad situation. You're low on health. Oh man, I got to go out and get that cannon. It's about to disappear. There's too many ads. Don't put yourself in a bad situation. So Sepiks is almost dead. It's only going to take a few more shots. I am out of heavy, but we can just finish him off with our primary with small arms on. And there we go. We've done it. You've done it. Not a very difficult solo this week. For the boss fight again, guys, there's the 3 phases. Initial phase, you come out, kill a couple ads, do some damage on Sepiks. He'll put up an arc shield. Go back to that room. Be aware of ads coming up behind you on the steps. Wait for the captains. Use one of their cannons to take down his arc shield. Do damage. Rinse and repeat that with his solar shield and then with his void shield. Just turn in that sunrise bounty. Didn't get icebreaker. Doesn't matter. Got a gun. Let's fast forward to the rewards. I think that would have been cool if they would have done a quest line for icebreaker, but hey, it don't matter. So we got some boots, weak reward, but I'll use it for infusion fuel. Hopefully this video was helpful, and hopefully it helps you get it done this week, guys. Have a good one. See ya.